Darin and Anita. A Music Evolution.
Darin Henley here, Darin and Anita, A Music Evolution. The radio show is what it is. It is A Music Evolution, and I am with some folks right now, folks. An evolution is what these guys have done and what they're putting together right now, and a lot of things are getting ready to come up for this. And one person that I have never got to meet, first, we've got to meet Dr. Melvin Steels, and his brother is here with us as well, Merv Steels, songwriting extraordinaires, and we'll talk about that coming up. But none other two than McKinley Jackson sitting here with me. I got to shake your hand.
Oh, my pleasure,
sir.
my pleasure.
We'll go around the room and say hello again. It's good to meet all you guys and what's going on in the music business. Right now we're at Studio East in Charlotte, North Carolina, and some things are going on with the Chairmen of the Board. And we're going to talk about that and get to that in a moment. But McKinley, to find out a little bit about you, what got you into this music business thing? How did you arrive here?
Well, Ken picked me up at the airport. No, actually, a friend of mine in junior high school, we were like, come to think of it, this is true, we would, anything he did, I did, anything I did. So he told me he had a music class. So I said, I have it also. And I ran around the school the other way, went up to the band room, and they were out of saxophone and trumpet, so I took trombone. That's what got me into it. And I stuck with the trombone, and it was really the first thing I ever loved. I wasn't really into sports, hadn't gotten into girls yet, and I was really just kind of, music came along, and it really kind of gave me some type of
something good to spend your time.
Yeah, well, it kind of gave me me. That's
and
what
I
found. So yeah, that
Tell
came
me
later.
about that teacher that you had in junior high that really took that special interest.
Mr. Gordon Allen. He used to, I think he had a 1940 Ford or something. He used to pick us up and take me from what they quote unquote the underprivileged part of the city, and would take me to the other side of town, and would play for concerts, and kind of featured me, and took me to a school where I used to work for 50 cents an hour for my lessons. But the teachers were from the Detroit Symphony Orchestra, so we had the advantage of some of the best teachers. And some of my teachers were the first, Arthur LeBrew was the first black person to win the Mozart Scholarship to go overseas and study. He was my harmony and theory teacher at that point. And after that, it was like Motown was my real.
Right. Well, I was reading, actually researching a little bit about you, that you were on a lot of the session work and things at Motown.
That's true. That's true.
And that's incredible there in itself, just Motown.
Yeah, I used to skip school, go to Motown. I think I was telling Tim that my first recording over there was Ooh Baby Baby by Smokey Robinson Americans. And I skipped school that day and went over and played trombone on it. And the rest of it, they say, was history.
So when we listen to the Ooh Baby Baby now, that's you on.
If you listen to it really careful and you pick out those three trombones, that's me on third trombone, sitting on the left. That's me. And it was great. Norman Whitfield was on the floor, who later became very known for the Temptations. Right.
Well, from there you go on to Holland, Dozier and Holland, sort of the split there when all that happened, and you become really sort of with the Politicians, the group there, you become the music for Holland, Dozier and Holland.
That's true. More or less like their quote unquote funk brothers. Yeah, for the house musicians. And I think the first recording there, really the first one that we did was She's Not Just Another One. Was that 8th Day or 100 Proof?
100 Proof.
100 Proof, yeah. And Frida Payne, the Band of Gold, and Give Me a Little More Time, the Chairman of the Board. I think those were the first three recordings that we did there.
That's incredible to me to listen to, and when I say this, I don't mean to put you when we say back in the day kind of thing.
Oh, it's true.
But it's such an origination of music. I mean, all you guys, getting ready to talk to you, that was when it was being created. And it's somewhat nowadays, I think, and we talk about it on the radio a lot, music's sort of not the same anymore with the creation of it.
Right.
Being real, writing a song and putting the lyrics to it and the music to it is because everything nowadays, and I'm going to say everybody's like this, but it seems that everything's sampled or copied. you know, you have nothing there, and that's coming from me, folks. But
true.
but it is sort of like that today. And now you're the music director actually for the Temptations.
Correct.
That's where you're at right now until Ken got you in town with the chairman of the board again. Actually, sort of going full circle.
Yeah, well, you know, Ken and I go a long way back. And I won't even talk about that record. But that's a record I produced on Bloodstone, but when I heard that phrase. But Ken and I go a long way back, even before the chairman of the board, because he was with Danny Woods back there.
Right.
And Danny and I go back even way before the company was formed. As a matter of fact, Danny's manager became my manager, and she's the one that got me signed with Holland, Dozier and Holland and started me with the Politicians, you know. I was kind of like, didn't even want to be in front, and she kept pushing me to the front.
What was her name, McKinley?
Betty Slater. She's just passed recently, relatively recent. But Ken and I go a long way back, and actually before there was chairman of the board, I knew Ken, and we were both playing around town. He knew my brother used to play in a club. My brother was running. We just talked today about that, and the chairman of the board originated at the studio that I used to use to rehearse the Politicians. And Danny and I were working on the road, and backing up Danny is how I started the group. And then I started getting the extra player, and that's how the Politicians were formed. And like I said, Jeffrey Bourne came by, and the studio I used for rehearsal, he started putting this group together. And that was General Johnson, that was the original Harrison Kennedy, Danny, and
Kendricks.
And
Is that right?
Eddie Custis.
Custer. Right.
Yeah, and then Eddie dropped out, and then later as they went on, and Ken got with General, and they kept the thing going, you know. So so we all it's like around a circle. We come full circle now, working with Ken.
And I think it's great, and I can't wait to hear, folks. I've heard some of the stuff that's getting ready to happen today. And I did record a little of it, but they've got me under contract now. I can't play any of it. But it's on the way, and we'll keep you informed with that. Well, Melvin, I tell you, a lot of stuff going on with you and Merv here as well, and how you guys came together. And just to give some folks some recap, if you can go back and watch the video, it's up on our website when we talked last year.
Right.
Now, some of the songs that you'll be familiar with that you guys wrote are
Could It Be I'm Falling in Love for the Spinners. And a lot of people who like that hip-hop music might be surprised to know that one of the biggest hip-hop records by Chubb Rock, Treat 'Em Right, that we're co-writers.
Oh, wow.
The three of us.
Song, the three of us.
Yeah.
Every time he gets paid,
we get
paid.
I like that. Well, tell me this. How did you guys, you're twins.
Right.
So how did you guys come up with the music writing? Now that I get to talk to both of you, it's a little different.
It began when we were about 9 years old. On a Saturday night, we used to take a bath together. We could both fit in the tub, and we used to imitate the sounds on the radio. You know, he would be a guitar, I'd be the bass. So we would go on, and finally we took our show on the road.
In the bathtub?
No, we went down to the living room on the second floor, and we would be making our music, and my mother would yell up the stairs, "Cut out all that fuss! You sound like a pack of wild dogs." But the music got in us, and going to church like a lot of people, we had a woman named Mrs. Scretchens who was like our Mahalia Jackson, and we had a sister who could sing. And that gospel music got to us. And unlike me, he wanted to play the piano. And he worked with a lot of people over the years. And he was one of the most creative piano players I've ever been around in my life. And because we were twins, when he plays the piano, the words come to me. Like, Could It Be I'm Falling in Love? He came up with that music. He came up with the sing-along. And then we were writing.
So he did it all then?
No, he didn't do it all. Let me say this about Mervin. When he played the piano, like Paul Lika, that did what's
Green
that song?
Tambourine.
Green Tambourine. He would tell people that when Mervin played, everything you could hear the arrangement. It was just not playing chords.
Right.
Everything was there. You could hear it. And when he would play, then the words would come. Sometimes we would almost fight.
Now, I have a question because my co-host Anita on the show never gets to talk because I talk most of the time. Is that what happens with you guys? Because he's gave the whole
Obviously.
way.
You got the PhD.
He's the doctor, right?
Yeah.
I'm picking with you guys.
No, well, I end up in the building trades, and then when I first went in the steel mill, I wanted to be an engineer, and they put a shovel in my hands.
But one thing
Then when I
about,
started writing songs and playing the piano, I told Eddie Holman that I could play the piano, and I couldn't. I told a lie. So I had to back it up. And so, I learned how to write songs.
That's awesome to hear just the stories and how they come together. Now, you guys, how did this happen? Sort of, what are you going to say there?
no, I was going to just say, I'll let Melvin tell you how we got together. But Mervin is exceptional in terms of his creativity on the piano. I mean, he's not the guy that's going to do a whole lot of sparkling or fancy stuff, but the essence, to piggyback on Melvin, the essence of the song is there. You can see with just the piano and the lyrics and the vocal, the essence of the record is there. You just have to not destroy that and embellish it because it's already there, and that's the way Melvin plays. He's exceptional, not to be a trained musician. His ear is he's exceptional, really, and he doesn't say much. But when he does, you better listen.
The quiet folks are who you got to worry about most of the time. It's the quiet folks.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have, and tell me if this is how you come together. You have a label together called Mo Philly.
Mo Philly, right.
Now, is that how this become together with you guys getting together?
Henry Allen.
With Henry Allen signed the Impressions.
To Cotillion.
And we met McKinley in the conference room in Henry's office at Cotillion. Mm-hmm. And we were all sitting around waiting for, what was the guy's name from Stax Records?
Al Bell.
Yeah.
Al Bell was supposed to be the producer, and we were all sitting there waiting and waiting. Al Bell never showed up. And so Henry Allen said, McKinley is the producer. And we went out to California and started working. We had 6 songs on the album. And McKinley, that was the first Motown Philly connection for us. Yeah. And it just blended because the songwriters that most influenced us were Holland Dozier Holland. The very first song that we wrote, really Mervin wrote, called I'm Not Strong Enough. We had a group called the Four Perfections, and we cut the song in 1967, and we lost track of the song. Several years ago, we found out that the song went to England.
You were telling me this.
And it was it's one of those Northern Soul things. And in fact, they flew us over to England, and we performed. And I had never in my life, I heard people talk about how much American artists are appreciated. Those people made us feel like we were the Beatles. Even my wife went, and my son and his wife, and they were signing autographs.
It's amazing with the English and over in the UK,
right?
And how music is so different over there.
They appreciate it.
It is. It's a different kind of appreciation.
Yeah, here in the States, which is great, but we're more star orientated, I think. Because they want to know they want to know that it's star idolizing. They idolize the guy in front that's singing.
Right.
But over there, the first time I went many years ago, I did a group called Gonzalez. We haven't stopped dancing yet, but the disco era, and that was for EMI. But the point of it is, they wanted to know what did James Jamerson wear? What kind of hat did he have? What kind of corn-cob pipe did he smoke? How did he sit? What kind of shoes they wear? They were very much, and who did the recording? Who did the engineering? Who did
about the whole song? They wanted to know everything. The
industry.
production.
So yeah, not just so they have a great appreciation for the writers, for the musicians. Unlike here in the States for the most part, you know.
Well, let's bring this full circle real fast now. Bringing in the chairman of the board. And then we've met last year when you came down with the chairman and that kind of thing. And here today with the music that I'm hearing, this is going to be great. I can't wait. How did, I know you and Ken got back together. How is this happening? How are we here today?
Well, McKinley was telling me about Ken, and he did a 3-way phone call. And that's how I met Ken, and we started talking, and I came down last year. And it's like something in heaven brought us all together. And I was telling people a lot of things happened in the past, but the most important moment in a person's life is right now.
Right.
And we have a unique opportunity to bring our collective talents together and do something revolutionary. You have the Motown sound, you have the Philly sound, and we intend to, like the phoenix bird that flames and turns to ashes, we are going to rise from the ashes and we're going to go out and give the music lovers around the world real music. We wrote the songs that really said something.
Yeah, and you know, it's interesting too, interesting in the sense that I think Ken's path with the chairman of the board and the analogy of the Phoenix, they're rising again. The chairman of the board will be heard from again in a new and different way. And at the same time, since we're doing our thing and the fact that we could all do it together, have a friendship, Ken and I have been friends for many years, it's unique in that aspect. And it's going to be great because he's got a great core of guys now. Really? Chairman of the board has always been a great group and a great name. I mean, the name speaks for itself, chairman of the board, you know. So, but he's got 2 new guys
Thomas
with him.
Hunter and Brandon Stevens.
And all 3 of the guys complement each other vocally.
They do.
And I see them personality. They all get to, you know, it's going to be great. The music's going to be great. The combination of the group and the music, I think, is going to be something to look for in 2017.
Exactly, I agree. They just got back from a UK tour.
Right.
And when you watch the guys on stage, they were at the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame. They played for the induction ceremony this year. And even when I watched the guys on stage, the 3 personalities, there are 3 distinct personalities in that, which have always sort of been the chairman of the board.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But it's still there, and for what each one carries on with that is an incredible thing.
Right. You know, a thing about it too, I think when you see them live, the chairman of the board has always had a fantastic look live, and I still see it now with the guys. Like I said, we go a long way. Ken and I go a long way back. But let me ask you one question. One thing I missed. What studio are we in?
Studio East.
I didn't hear the legendary part.
Well, legendary Studio East. It is
that's very important because when I came to North Carolina, I've always heard about the legendary, and that's very important. I said, well, wait a minute, is there another word that goes there?
There is, with the James Brown who stood over there.
And the General Johnsons and Tim
Johnny
Eaton.
Cash who stood over there.
And Tim Eaton is an excellent engineer.
Yes, he is.
And musician, and I met the other guys, Mark and
Mark Stallings is incredible. What he does as well.
Guys, it's my first time really actually working in
You've
North
never
Carolina.
been to the legendary studio.
This is my first. Yesterday. No, it's my first time.
Because I had to put legendary.
Legendary is very important. I mean, if I just went to East, but the legendary, that's very important.
It is very
Because
important.
you're legendary. It takes one to know one.
And if Tim heard me take legendary out there, he would say the same.
Well, I didn't want you to have any problems when we leave.
Just kidding. Well, I tell you, I can't wait for all this, and I'm telling you folks, it's going to be an incredible thing, the music I've heard today. And you can Google for a lot of this if you want to know more about McKinley and the Steels Brothers. That's all you got to look for. It's tons of pages of information out there. I know because I did it today. So, but I knew McKinley and I knew you guys, but you find out so much every time you go on. I find a new article about something that was done with somebody or the songs, and it's just really a cool
You know what's
thing.
interesting too? We were just saying, we find out new stuff about ourselves.
Say-
Oh, we did that? You did? Oh, yeah. I mean, 'cause even as
We touched that, too.
Yeah. Even as you mentioned Ken, he said, how did Ken and I was going I'm trying to remember, how did that happen? I'm so glad Melvin knew that answer. And he's correct. We did a conference call. That's how we all got back together. But yeah, so often people come and say, you did this, or did you do that? And I have to say, well, I don't know. And you have to do so much for so long.
No, it sort of comes
yeah,
together.
Yeah.
Well, music is what it's all about, and it's great meeting with both you guys, or all three of you guys again. I say both, I think of you as twins.
Yeah.
the two.
From the same egg.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much,
No
McKinley.
problem. My pleasure.
Great to
My
meet
pleasure.
you
My
finally.
pleasure.
Since the Temptation thing at the was it the Blumenthal, I think,
Yeah.
here in town that we got to meet
Right.
a couple years ago. And you guys, great to meet you again, always. Dr. Steele, because I remember in the last interview, I left the doctor off there. But anyway, no, but really cool. This man, it's amazing. I would love to have just this much knowledge as this guy right here. It's incredible. And Mervin, it's great to meet you as well. The other half of this, the
That's
team.
the better half over there.
He's always so quiet, though. That's what's
But he's interested.
He's interesting.
I paid my dues.
You paid your dues. Folks, thank you so much for watching. And I tell you, go and stay online. Look for DarinAnita.com or CBMZOnline.com. And we'll have links up there to all these guys. And be checking out for more down the road. Matter of fact, we have Pepper. This is the legendary Studio East mascot right here. We'll see you down the road.
Did Tim tell you to come over here?
Darin and Anita. A Music Evolution.